Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a book that really did change everything for hidden art, Donald Michael Kraig's classic, Modern Magick. This thing is basically a step-by-step course that's designed to take anyone, and I mean anyone, from a total beginner to a practicing magician. So let's just jump right in with this really powerful idea from the author himself. This one line completely flips the script on what you might think this is all about. We're not just talking about casting spells here. We're talking about a way of life, a path of serious self-development. It's about fundamentally changing who you are from the inside out.
All right, so first things first, we've got to clear our heads of everything we've seen in movies or read in fantasy novels. The book makes it super clear that real magic isn't about, shooting lightning from your fingertips or summoning demons. Nope, it's something way more subtle and honestly, way more personal.
So what is magic then, according to Kraig? Well, his definition is pretty fascinating. He calls it a science and art, which means you need both discipline and creativity. The whole point is to cause change in conformity with will, basically to consciously shape your own reality. And here's the really interesting part. It uses means not currently understood by science. See, it doesn't frame it as something supernatural, but as a part of nature we just can't quite measure yet. The book then breaks down the practice into 3 categories, and it's all about your intention. You've got white magic, which is purely spiritual. It's focused on connecting with the divine or your higher self. Then there's black magic, which is pretty much what you'd think, causing harm. But most of the practical stuff, the day-to-day work, falls into what's called gray magic. This is about using these skills to improve your life, for things like getting a job or helping a friend with their health. The book is careful to warn you, though, that gray magic can slide into black if you're not paying really close attention to the consequences of what you're doing. Now, to really get why modern magic became such a huge deal, you have to picture what the occult world was like before this thing came out, back in 1988. Trying to find clear, reliable information was next to impossible. Just like author John Michael Greer points out here, the older books on this stuff were, they were intentionally confusing. They were packed with cryptic language and inside jokes, and they just assumed you already knew a bunch of stuff that no beginner could possibly know. They'd hint at these incredible secrets, but give you absolutely no key to unlock them. And the impact of this book was just massive. It kicked down the doors to a world that was pretty much sealed shut. To give you some perspective, major figures in the community like Shabak and Sandra Cicero say it sold as many copies as the original foundational texts of the entire tradition. Modern Magick just took the super complex secret system and laid it all out in a clear course that anyone, literally anyone, could follow. And that gets us to a core idea of the book. This is not something you just read. It's a manual you do. From the very first lesson, it pushes you straight into practical work, starting with the absolute basics, like preparing your mind and, crucially, tracking your progress. Kraig does not mess around on this point. He says it flat out. No one can give you magical powers. You have to earn them. Your success depends completely on your effort, your practice, and your consistency. It's treated just like learning to play the piano or studying a martial art. It takes daily dedication. And this is where it all begins. The very first exercise is a simple relaxation and visualization technique. This is the foundational skill you need before you do any other ritual. The whole idea is to calm your body and focus your mind, creating the right internal state for the work. And this simple ritual, it's used to prepare for every single other exercise in the entire book. So at the same time, you're told to start a magical diary, and here's a real example from the author's own records. Think of it like your personal lab notebook. You write down the date, the time, the phase of the moon, how you're feeling, the ritual you did, and what happened. This approach is so key. It treats magic like an experimental science, letting you track all the variables so you can figure out what actually works for you. This practical, almost scientific approach extends to all the tools of the craft. So let's take a look at one of the first major tools the book introduces, the tarot. But what's really interesting is that before you even learn how to do a reading, Kraig makes sure you understand its history and its deeper meaning. The book is super direct about separating fact from fiction. It lays out all the romantic, mythical histories, that the cards hold the secret wisdom of ancient Egypt or the lost library of Alexandria. And then, right next to it, it presents the cold, hard, documented facts, tracing the tarot's origins to a 14th century Italian card game. So this raises a really interesting question, right? If we know for a fact that these myths are not historically accurate, why are they still so important to studying the tarot? Why does everybody keep repeating them?
The answer Kraig gives is, well, it's brilliant. He argues that for understanding the tarot's true nature, the myths are actually more important than the facts. A date just tells you when something happened. A myth tells you what it means. These stories are what connect the cards to these powerful, ancient ideas of wisdom and hidden knowledge, and they allow us to tap into those same forces inside ourselves.
So all of this, the rituals, the diaries, studying tools like the tarot, it's all building toward a single ultimate goal. And you know what? It's probably not what most people think of when they hear the word magic.
And there it is. This is the core message of the entire book. It's not about getting power over other people or bending the world to your will. The whole system is designed to lead you to one thing, and one thing only: self-mastery.
This whole philosophy really gets to the heart of the practice. It's all about you discovering your own inner power. Kraig tells this story about how he refuses to do rituals for other people, because that would just make them weak and dependent on him. The entire purpose of this is true self-empowerment, giving you the ability to create change through your own work. He even warns that anyone who's just hungry for power over others is missing the entire point and is basically doomed to fail.
And so, the book leaves us right back where it all started. If magic is the art and science of causing change to happen in line with your will, then the path of the magician begins with the most important question you can possibly ask yourself: what change do you truly want to cause in your own mind and in your own life?